Hey YouTube, today we're going to be doing some encrypting and in the next video we'll be doing some decrypting. But however, this is going to be very time consuming for the encrypting part. However, the decrypting part should be a lot more shorter. But to understand this, you guys, it's going to take quite a lot, okay? So go ahead and open up Visual Basic. And for this encrypting and decrypting, we actually want to have a solid. So let's go ahead and name it to a program that we would actually make. So I'm just going to make it something that I would normally name it. K22 Fly Sky, I guess. And I'm going to put 2K15. This isn't an actual program that I would make. This is just a completely random name. But let's go ahead and K22 Fly Sky 2K15. So as I can see here, I have my program, and all we're going to need is two text boxes. I want this to be really simple. And we're going to kind of have this command based because I want this to kind of look cool. If you saw my previous video where we analyzed code, it's going to look a lot like that one. Just go ahead, create two text boxes, and basically we can get started after we add these. Let's go ahead and give some variables to them. Since we're encrypting looks kind of evil in a way, but I don't want you guys to think of it that way. So just go ahead and change it to white, and we want the border style to be none. So we can kind of see the way that we want the typing area to have a border though. For that border style, we want it to be fixed single. And then for this upper part, we want it to be read only. Go ahead and change that to true. And we can go ahead and now what we're going to need is a name for our encryption. Now you can come up with your own name, but I have a tool that allows me to, I created this tool in the 7th grade, and it allows me just to type in my program name. And basically what it does is it'll give me an encryption name, so 51228. So I can go ahead and save this content. And since I don't want to save it, I just kind of want to write it down somewhere. So that way I have it. Because I'm not going to actually probably use this code. So 51228. So there's my encryption name. The rest of this I don't really need for right now. So that's going to be the name of my encryption here. It's great to name your encryptions because you should probably never have the same encryption for two programs unless they're working together. So that's why I name my encryption. So that's a great start. And then this will be available in the download. Basically here our encryption for A. We're going to have it so when we save the file, A doesn't equal A. It's going to equal something else. But the way that I kind of want this to work is I want all the Z's. This is going to be a easy encryption to be able to decrypt. So if a hacker gets in your program, this might not be the greatest way. But let's go ahead and have all of our capital letters have 0001 in front of them. Though, I don't know why I did that. So 0, 1, 2, 3. And let's go ahead and shift it over and then copy. And let's go ahead and see if we can paste it into all of those just as well. Or not. So basically what we have here is the beginning of every encryption for all of these letters is going to start with 00A1. Now for all of our lowercase, we might want 00. This is so we have a better understanding of everything. And then for these, 00C2, whoops, 00C2, and then actually this should be a 2 and this one should be a 3, and then 00D4. So these are just our secret names, and we're going to want to go ahead and copy these all the way down to the very bottom of each car. So I'll pause it, then I'll come back to you guys. So once you've kind of finished that, we're going to go ahead and add some actual code in this. So go ahead and you can either type some random numbers and then a few random letters, but we're probably not going to want that because we want everything to have the same length. So go ahead and I didn't mean to delete that. What the heck? Okay, so just go ahead and add a new number or letter or whatever you'd like to each one. Honestly, you don't have to go in order, and I wouldn't if I were you. So go ahead and just kind of do this to every single one, and just kind of keep on going until every single one of them has a letter after it. So each one is about 5 characters long. So after you've added 5 characters to every single encryption, they don't have to be looking alike or not. However, if you do have duplicates, you will find errors in your application. It won't freeze up or anything, but you'll get some weird codes, and not all the text will be readable. Though it'll be pretty legible as long as you don't have more than like 3 errors. So now literally what I want to do is make sure that every single one of these has about 6 characters to it. I mean, not 6. Add 6 more, but it needs to be a total of 11 characters, probably at least for every encryption. You can just literally hit some random keys for every single one. Just try to make sure that you don't create any duplicates. Try to stay away, try to keep it really random. And so I'll do the first 2 for you guys. So I need to keep track of how many I click. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I can go ahead and go on to the next one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't like how it's doing that. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And they don't all have to be capitalized. They can be lowercase. So you can add symbols. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And just kind of keep on going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And just keep on going. And I'll see you guys when you have all those filled out. So after you've finished filling out the rest of your code to 11 characters, we can now continue on with our tutorial. Now, however, I did not fill out all of my characters to 11. Now, this is the reason why is because this is a tutorial for you guys, and I don't want to take the time to create an encryption that I'm not going to use. So you guys, instead, I really hope that you're going to use this encryption and you're taking your time to make it the way that you want it to be. You can have an encryption mean something. It can literally mean something, or it cannot, or it can be completely randomized. Now, so let's go ahead and go into our program. So fly high sky. Now, basically, we're going to have everything that we type. We can just type in, so for example, when we type in encrypt, it'll encrypt everything after. And then, or if we have decrypt, we can either have it like encrypt would be the stuff after, and then decrypt could either be what we paste in there, or we could have it say above. Yeah, okay, so that would definitely work. The reason why this is seeming a little complicated for me is because I haven't really created something like this before, so it's a new experiment for me and for you guys. So go ahead, and when we want it to be under key down, If e.keycode is equal to enter, so when enter is pressed, then let's go ahead and provide our function. So if textbox2.text, actually we're going to have to make sure whether we're encrypting or decrypting. So let's go ahead and we can add a tag. Okay, I figured out how we're going to do this. So if textbox2.text is equal to decrypt1, then we can it's going to decrypt the stuff above. So public, or we could do private sub, decrypt, and then we can do what we want there. And then we also want a private sub encrypt, and go ahead and hit enter. Now we do want to name or stuff that we're decrypting and encrypting. We want to name that projectile. So dim projectile as string is equal to nothing. So if we're decrypting 1, that means we're going to decrypt the stuff above. So projectile is equal to textbox1.text. However, if it doesn't, then we can do some other code, you guys. So then if it says, that's just going to be the easy code for decrypting. Now if we want to encrypt something, we can say we can use a find code. This is called a find and then function. So basically, if we just copy and paste this code right in here, it'll do the job for us. So what this is going to say is, if we want to find the code encrypt 1, then that means we're going to encrypt our current string. However, if textbox2.text is equal to encrypt 1, then we're just going to encrypt what's in textbox1 altogether. So we will have this function just in case we want to double encrypt. So we're going to find encrypt 2. And then if we do find it, then we can have, we want it to actually be replaced. So textbox2.text is equal to textbox2.replace is equal to replace. Then what we can have here is what we're finding. So what we're finding is encrypt 2, and then we're gonna replace it. No, it's gonna be textbox2.text, and we're gonna find encrypt 2, and we might want to add a tag if we want to, but however, I'm not going to worry about tags because that's a whole different thing. So then we can go on to saying, hey, let's now encrypt what we have here. So projectile, what we're encrypting, is equal to textbox2.text. Now this could have a space before or after it. It doesn't really matter. This could literally be anywhere in the line of text, and this is still going to work. So now if we want to decrypt what's down here, basically we're going to have the same code, except we're going to need new variables. So go ahead and paste that, except we're going to have C and D, C and D, and we can just rename this to decrypt, and then we can name this to C, then D, and we can basically see that everything is just literally working out the same. And the only thing that will be different is that we'll have to send it to the decrypt instead of the encrypt. So now we can align our code. I can see that this is clearly going to need to be decrypted. So decrypt, then this one's encrypt, this one's encrypt, this one's decrypt. Alright, so now we can actually get on to the code that's going to decrypt and encrypt our program. Really all this is, you guys, is we're just replacing what we have. If we go into our codes, we can find and replace code. And since we're not really dealing with a rich text box, we want to actually change that to a regular text box. And it's going to be projectile, or what we actually might want to have is a dim main content. Dim. No, we won't need that. We can just use projectile. So projectile is actually equal to the replaced content of projectile. So what we're going to find is our encrypted code. Then we're going to replace it with what it actually needs to be. So instead of just copying a code, easily done code from one of my previous applications, I'm literally going to walk through this all with you. So as we can see, we have 26 plus 26 equals 52. 52 plus 20 equals 72. Plus another 20. So that's 92, 94. So we're going to have a lot here. But just for this demonstration, actually I will do it all with you guys. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. After you've put 10 there, go ahead and copy it, and then we can just paste it 9 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then all we need left is 2 of them. So just copy, paste, paste. Now this is the part that we can actually kind of fly through. All you're doing is you literally have to go down the keyboard just like that for this to work out perfectly. So then we can go down all the way to M. And now we can go through uncapped letters. So next what we have is numbers. If I believe right, we do start with 1. Yep. Let's go down to 1 to 0. Now this is the part that does take a little bit longer. So we have to add the shifts. Okay, so I already added that one. Now we have to add our symbols. And for the symbols, they don't actually matter if they're in order or not. I added that slash? I'm a little bit confused. So we have the period, then we have our forward slash. Now you can go on. The only thing that we can't add is the colon, which does not matter, or apostrophes or whatever you want to call them. And so basically we're done. I did have one extra one, but we can use that for our encrypting section. So go ahead and cut that. So after you have 10 here, we do know that we need 92 of them, or maybe it's 91. Pretty sure it's 92. So just go ahead and paste this 9 times. And then we can go ahead and just paste 2. So as a matter of fact, this is actually for encrypting right here, because it's going to find the question mark and it's going to replace it with the encrypted code. So we can actually just paste that right into the encrypting section, no problems. And then we can just take this and paste it into the decrypting section. So just go ahead, paste it right into there. And then now we can start all over with typing our letters and our alphabet into there, except we're just putting it into the next section. So now just for a quick checkup that everything's going right, what you guys might want to do is just add a little comment at the very end of these. And then basically this is just going to check and make sure that our code is all correct. And that everything's just going to work out for us. Because if you have like one letter missing off of here, you're going to have some mess ups, like major mess ups. So, of course, now we have to go through and but this should actually be a lot more quicker than the rest of them, because all we're doing is hitting down. So as we can see that we hit 1 before we hit M. So we can see that we're fine. And then O. We missed O. Literally. So what we now need to do is paste this here. And that would have been a huge mess up, because the codes that have O in them are gonna they could have been really damaged. So we can now go on with our code. So far so good. This is just like checking our math like you normally would in like class or whatever, if you want to relate to that or not. Yep. So if you remember, we didn't have the apostrophe, so we just got to go on. And so this code is 100% verified. We verified that it's all good. We have everything in there that we need. Now we can go on to this code and basically just do the same thing. So once you've added comments to this, then you can go ahead and start checking your code. And to be honest, I'm just going to pause this so you guys don't have to wait as I do this. So these will be in the description. Just for the heck of it, I'll copy and paste it now so I don't have to redo it later for you guys. Those will be in the description for you guys. And there is the name of my encryption that I should probably leave at the top of my class. And I can go ahead and hit enter. And there's the name of my encryption. You guys don't need to name your encryption. just to recall upon that topic, because I combine all my encryptions into one program, so that way I don't have a million different decrypting and encrypting programs. So, okay, now we can go on, and this will be probably the longest part. So if you thought creating your own encryption was the longest part, this is the most longest part and could take you about 20-30 minutes. But I'll tell you what, this is so worth it. So worth it. Literally, it's faster than by doing it by hand, that's for sure. Literally, all you have to do is copy and then paste the code into there. It might even be easier just to kind of have them side by side. So you copy it, paste it, and just make sure that you're copying the right code. So I just pasted B into where S is, and that's not going to work, you guys. So make sure you go find S, which is right here, double click it, and you literally copy it into there. And I will also remake this, you guys, so it is in order. There will be two of them, one in A to Z and one from how it should be by keyboard. So then we go down to D, and you need to do this for every single one of these. Then you have to do it again for the decrypting and encrypting. So you gotta do this twice. And I'll pause it and I'll see you guys when I am done doing this. Hey YouTube, so after you guys get done pasting all of those in there, you're probably exhausted, but we still have a little bit more to do until this program is done. So as we can see, that projectile is already handled and we're on to the decrypt. All we need to do is add our function here at the end. And the same here. Actually, all of our handles are pretty much done. We have project and then project, and well, I don't know why I said project, but so we can decrypt whatever's projectile. So now projectile is encrypted, and since we're decrypting text box 1, we want text box 1.text equal what we just decrypted, so it would be projectile. Now when we encrypt, we're encrypting what we have in text box 1, and we want it to be displayed in text box 1. So text box 1.text equals projectile. We go on here, and we're having it equal what we typed, as I can see here by analyzing this. So we actually want textbox1.text, no matter what, we want textbox1.text to equal projectile. We don't want anything to equal what we're we don't want anything covering up what we just typed. So then we can have textbox1.text equal projectile. So every single time we want it to equal what is inputted. So instead of actually putting it on each one of these 4 times, we can shorten that code. This goes to our skills of analyzing. We just paste textbox1.text equals projectile. And that's literally all we put at the end of those. And to make our code more simple, every time we type something in, we should clear our textbox2.text. So textbox2.text actually .clear. We should have that at the very end of every single one of those. Now let's say if none of those codes happen, then literally nothing happens. So let's go ahead and test this out, you guys. I'm really excited. So we can't type up here, we only can type right there. However, we might need some codes. So we can't encrypt anything that's above right now. So let's go ahead and encrypt something. So encrypt 2. And let's go ahead and type in what we want to encrypt. So hello. Hit enter. And there's our encrypted information up there above. Now I do gotta say that's pretty awesome how long that is right there. So that's a lot of information. So now we do have a problem here. Let's say we need to create a jump. So go ahead and type end of script. Now every time we do a function, we want to say go to end of script. The reason for this is because we don't want to. We're gonna have a all else environment here. And when we do a function, we don't want to have the all else plus our function that we're having. So basically all we're doing is saying textbox1.text equals textbox2.text. And to make these codes a little bit more efficient, just take off these numbers for encrypt 1 and decrypt 1. So now what we can do is say, hey, hello. Or we can just do, hey, hit enter. It'll go back up there to the top. Then all we have to do is say, hey, encrypt. And then it encrypts it for us. However, when we display that information, we do want our text box to be cleared. We also want to be able to make this all full size here. So go ahead and stretch this out. Why is it being like that? And we want to be able to dock it the way that we want it to. So let's go ahead and anchor it to top, left, bottom, and bottom. Okay, and this one is everything but the top. So let's go ahead and give this a shot. So when we say hello YouTube, well, first maximize it, say hello. I don't know why it's doing that. What the heck? Okay, so I understand what's going on here. The problem here is that we have this outside of our environment for when enter is pressed. So just go ahead and cut that and have that at the very bottom where it says end if, right between the two end ifs. So every time we press a button, that function's happening. We can go ahead and say hello YouTube. And then it'll pop up there. It's decrypted. And we can say encrypt that, please. And here's all the information. It's very encrypted. Nobody's going to be able to read this. However, if we take our chart here and we look at it, we can see the first thing we have is a OOC. Then we have 301. So 301. So if we scroll down, 301P. We know that one's a 0. Now, if you're wondering how the heck did we get a 0 into our encryption, well, remember the H that we had? It had a 0 right here. So it's going down the list. So it found an H. The first thing was an H. Then it hurries up and it replaces that. Then later on in the encryption, it catches that 0. Then it replaces it here. So literally, it's almost double and sometimes triple. It can even encrypt one character 10 times or 25 times. So if you have this A could get encrypted about 25 times. Even 36 to 90 times. Just depending on how many times, how long your encryption is. The more long your encryption is, the more longer this code is going to be. So if I double mine to 22 characters long instead of 11, this code, I can expect it to probably about 5 times longer than this right here. If not, maybe even 10 times longer. So that's pretty awesome, you guys. Now what you guys have all been waiting for is just go ahead and type decrypt, and then type decrypt, then decrypt, and then this is how many times it encrypted your program. Just keep typing decrypt, and eventually it will come back to normal. So instead of retyping it, I'm just gonna. So here I am finding some errors in my program. So this is pretty common, you guys, to find errors in this. And how might I fix that is relook over my code and see what kind of problems I'm having. So this could be a pain, you guys, if you have an error like I do. So either two of my codes are equal or I'm missing a letter. So how can I tell if I'm missing a letter? Well, that can be kind of hard. If I just type in A and then I encrypt it, it's like bam, that's a lot. And I had to go through every single letter until something doesn't come out right. It'll just remain A. So that's one way to figure out what's wrong with your code. Or you can check every single thing one by one, make sure C is equal to C, and then you'll eventually find your error. So that's what I'm going to do. Then when I find the error, I'll unpause the video. So by analyzing the code, I was not able to find my error because all my letters are equal to each other. So now I'm wondering if I copied and pasted some codes wrong. So I'm just going to paste everything from the decryption section, and then I'm going to copy and paste everything from the encryption section into a new notepad, and then I can overlap the notepads and then hopefully be able to figure out what's going on here. So what I mean by overlapping them is I'm going to scroll over and squish it over towards when I can only see the code. Now I can align this code to the top and the bottom. And then scroll this over here as well. And then just set the code side by side. Then make sure every single code equals the code beside it. The only problem with this is that these forms both have to probably be about the same size. So view and help are both right there. And so I have that right there. Make sure I'm all the way at the top for both of these. And then I can just put them side by side. And then I can just look right over and make sure that every single one equals the one beside it. And this is going to take me a while, so when I find the error, I'll come right back to you guys. So hey you guys, I did find the error. Right here where I'm at L, lowercase l, both of these codes do not equal each other. So I need to figure out which one the real one is. So I just go into my encryption, JKL right here. It's the one with the uppercase Y. So the first one is incorrect. Now before I go on, I just want to double check and make sure I don't have any other errors. So I'll be right back as I double check to make sure I don't have any other errors. So hey you guys, I did find another error right here and right here at the equal sign. I did find the equal sign should be equaling the one with the O. So again, this side with decryption was incorrect. And then the one right below it was incorrect just as well. So this one right here should also equal AU. Then just, I'm just, instead of pausing the video, I'm just going to hurry up and do the last of these. So, okay. So we have K, N, P, V, W, W, E, E, R, R, I, Y. P, P, M, M, B, B. Okay, so all these codes are now correct. Now I only found errors in this one, so I can go ahead and paste the codes into my application now. One on this one was the one with, this was the one with the errors. I can go ahead, paste that into here. And that one was, I didn't have to change anything in that one. Now the decrypt, what we are going to want to do is create a loop. Now we want to create a loop so that way we don't have to hit enter 1,000 times. So if we go ahead, we can actually find a loop online, so I'll be right back. So hey you guys, what we might want to do is create an index, and this is where our function will be, and we want to do it until index is equal to 10, or we can have it 15. Now I do 15 just in case. And so what we might want to cut and then paste this at the very bottom here. And we want to add 1 to index. So index equal plus, no, is equal to index plus 1. Then when this is done, we go on here, we want index to equal 0 again. So the next time we decrypt, it's reset. So there's our loop. So let's go ahead and test this out, you guys. Let's go ahead and make it maximized, and let's go ahead and say hello YouTube. Hit enter. Then let's go ahead and say encrypt this. It's encrypted. What a beautiful encryption. It looks perfect. Now let's go ahead and decrypt that. Hello YouTube. Now let's say you guys have a username and a password. And let's say that's our username and we need to encrypt that. There it is encrypted. It looks very good. Then let's say we needed a password. So you typed in your password. Your password's password 01. And you need to encrypt that. Then there we have it. Then we can also decrypt it. And so basically the whole point of this is, what I'm trying to say is, you can decrypt and encrypt your password so people can't steal information. So this is such a great, this is a great tool to be able to encrypt and decrypt your own things. And what I would like to show you is how the username and password field can be set up. So if we go ahead, make this a little bit smaller, we make this multi-line. We can go ahead, go like that, and this way we can encrypt and decrypt things a lot more bigger in size. So let's say we have, this belongs to K22 Fly Sky 2K15. My bad, K22 Fly Sky 2K15. And that's on the first line. And then let's say on our second line, we have, oh my god, are you being for real? So on the first line we have K22 Fly Sky 2K15. Then on our next line we have our username, so Corey Haas. And then on our next line we have our password, which might be password 1019834. So we can copy and then we can paste that into our program, then hit enter. So there's our information there above. Let's say we need to encrypt this because we're going to save it on the computer for our program to be able to read. So when we save anything to our computer that is sensitive like this, this is very high profile content. We need this to be held with security. So go ahead and encrypt it. So whenever we save a password or a username on the computer, it needs to be encrypted like this. So that way if a user is trying to find your username and password, they can't because it's encrypted. Now there's a lot more ways to encrypting, but this is the way that I find the most easiest, I guess you can say. And it definitely works. And then when the program needs that information, when you go to log in, it'll just decrypt that file for you briefly as it checks to make sure that user is allowed to log in. And then once you're successfully logged in, it'll encrypt it again. But since my computer, so then it'll encrypt it once again. So that's all for this video, you guys. It was kind of long, but you guys really need to know this information for the next couple tutorials. Please comment, rate, and subscribe, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this. And I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.